Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, so you saw the title of the video, you saw the thumbnail, and I'm just going to declare this right at the start of the video. It's absolutely 100% not clickbait. We are now getting information a couple weeks after Joe Biden's physical report that a cancerous lesion was in fact found on Joe Biden's chest, and that he did secretly undergo a procedure. You could call it a surgery. I guess we'll call it a minor surgery to remove that lesion from his skin. Based on the information that's been gathered from Joe Biden's health report, the lesions that were found were basal cell carcinoma, which is a common type of skin cancer, which tends to be relatively benign. Doctors are saying that it's been removed and is pretty much gone and not a big deal. But I still think that we should talk about it. We should have an honest conversation about it, especially considering the fact that Joe Biden is basically committing to running in 2024 again. And I think that this obviously enters the discussion. His age, his fragility, and now apparently he's susceptible to skin cancer due to his excessive exposure to the sun. As we know, Joe Biden often worked as a lifeguard at a young age. So let me update you guys on this newest revelation ahead of 2024. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, take a look at this headline from the Conservative Brief. Biden has cancerous lesion removed from chest and will need regular screenings. President Joe Biden's doctor announced on Friday that a skin lesion removed from his chest last month was identified as a basal or basal cell carcinoma, which is a prevalent type of skin cancer. The doctor also stated that no additional treatment was necessary according to reports. During Biden's routine physical on February 16th, his longtime physician Dr. Kevin O'Connor confirmed that all cancerous tissue had been successfully removed. Despite being 80 years old, Biden was declared healthy, vigorous, and fit to perform his duties as president by O'Connor during the examination, the Associated Press reported. All said, however, this is a significant development as Biden is expected to run for re-election in 2024. O'Connor also reported that the area where the skin lesion was removed from Biden's chest has healed well, and the president will continue to undergo regular skin screenings as part of his standard health care plan, the Associated Press noted. Basal skin cancer is a type of cancer that arises from the basal cells, which are located in the deeper layers of the epidermis, and it is the most common type of skin cancer, accounting for 80% of all cases. Cell skin cancer usually develops on sun-exposed areas of the skin, such as the face, the scalp, ears, neck, shoulder, and back. The main cause of this particular ailment is exposure to ultraviolet UV radiation from the sun or tanning beds. People with fair skin, light-colored eyes, and a history of sunburns or excessive sun exposure are at a higher risk of developing this particular type of ailment. Other risk factors include a family history of this type of illness, exposure to chemicals such as arsenic, and a weakened immune system. Symptoms of this particular disease include a small pearly bump on the skin, a red, scaly patch that may bleed or crust, a sore that does not heal, or a shiny pink or red bump that may be raised or flat. It usually grows slowly and rarely spreads to other parts of the body, but it can invade nearby tissue and cause damage if left untreated. You know, the purpose of this video, of course, isn't to exaggerate, to make the claim that Joe Biden is sick, rather just to continue to raise concern. The man is 80 years old, and by the time he's running for president again, he's going to be 82. If he was to win in 2024, that would make him by 2028, if he was to win that election, 86 years old by the end of his second term, nearly 90 years old, or on his way, more than halfway on his way to 90 years old. And now on top of that, to make matters worse, we're getting reports that Joe Biden had a cancerous growth on his skin, and that he basically fits all the criteria of having a consistent issue with these types of cancerous lesions. I read up a little bit on basal cell carcinoma from medical sources like Johns Hopkins Medicine, as well as some other reputable sources on the issue. And while this particular ailment isn't necessarily hyper-aggressive, it doesn't mean that it's benign either. For Joe Biden, who happens to be an octogenarian, and based on what we read about this particular type of cancer, he happens to fit almost every single risk factor. It's major cause for concern. Joe keeps getting asked if he's going to run again for president, and he's claiming that he will.
Let me ask you the question everyone is asking. Are you running?
Well, apparently someone interviewed my wife today, I heard
that too, just before I came in.
And I got to call her and find out. No, all kidding aside. My intention hasn't been from the beginning to run. But there's too many other things I have to finish in the near term before I start a campaign.
Kamala Harris is, of course, tagging along for the job.
The president has been very clear that he intends to run again, and if he does, I will be running with him.
But in the end here, I don't think it's partisan. I don't think it's crazy to say that Joe Biden should not be running. He's clearly reaching the end of his life. He is not fit for office, and I maintain the exact same stance that the people behind him, who continue to claim that he's in good health and promote him as vigorous old man who could do 1,000 freaking push-ups. Well, I maintain that those people are clearly doing something unethical here. It's very possible that these lesions continue to pop up on Joe Biden. Actually, we're also getting reports that his wife, Jill Biden, has had similar lesions removed from her skin as well, if I'm not mistaken, back in January. Let me just double check to confirm that. In January, First Lady Jill Biden had 2 basal cell lesions removed from her right eye and chest. In a recent interview with the Associated Press, she mentioned being extra cautious about wearing sunscreen, and particularly during beach visits. Look, it's not necessarily the nicest topic of conversation, but Donald Trump is already kind of on the edge, at the limit of what I think is an acceptable age to be deemed fit for office. I mean, clearly you have to assess different factors. Donald Trump still is significantly younger than Joe Biden, but also he seems more cognitively aware, so it's not as concerning. Joe Biden's first term, the guy was already pushing it. Now he's saying that he wants to run again, and it's just so many red flags on top of each other. You cannot fulfill the duties of the President of the United States of America if you are not in tip-top shape. You need to be able to work every single day relentlessly. You need to be able to understand all the briefings, all the information, all the bills that are hitting your desk. You need to be healthy, and your future health cannot be in question. When it comes to Sleepy Joe, his ability to understand is clearly shot. His ability to orate and speak, shot. And now there's possible concerns that he may have an issue with cancerous lesions going forward. The doctor is saying, hey, nothing to look here. The initial spot was removed and it's finished. Nothing to see here, folks. But based on some medical journals, although it happens mostly in rare cases, it is possible that it spreads to other areas of his body. It's not impossible. The simple fact is that Joe Biden's health is at risk. His immune system is absolutely compromised, which is one of the biggest factors when dealing with really any disease or any ailment as you get older. Joe Biden's first term, I think most people were willing to give it a try. Moving forward, understanding this kind of information, understanding where Joe is cognitively and physically, and the fact that he's going to be 86 years old by the end of it, it just can't fly. Like I stated earlier, the guy is at the end of his life. It sounds dark, it sounds cryptic, it sounds, maybe unethical to be saying, but I think it's just simple fact. I wouldn't be having this conversation if Joe was just some random Joe Schmo on the street, but he's the President of the United States, for Pete's sakes, and I think that all of this information is highly relevant. Joe Biden should not run for a second term as President of the United States of America. And I feel like that's really a non-controversial, almost not up for debate stance. It seems as though even Democrat voters agree. And if they were made aware of this new revelation that funnily enough didn't get released with the initial report, got announced rather silently last week, at the end of the week on Friday, right before the weekend as well. That's usually when you announce a story that you're trying to kill. Well, if most people were made aware of these details, I think again, it's cause for major concern, and it's highly relevant to the public conversation related to Joe Biden's health and his ability to serve as President of the United States going forward. That's basically what I got for you guys, though. Not much else to say. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If you enjoyed this video and want to support us here at the Liberal Hive Mind as we continue to give you guys all the facts, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.